All right, we're going to get into some mental health. This is what I was kind of warning everybody about in the teaser. We got some news last week, and I actually found out about this through the Mighty, which is a mental health website that I frequent, whether it's for stories or just for stuff I'm interested in or stuff to even help myself personally. And they had an article about a week ago. And I was not aware of this, which I can't believe I wasn't aware of this a week ago when it actually happened. This only came to my attention this week. And that was Piers Morgan, that douchebag, who I can't believe he still gets airtime. I can't believe anyone still listens to him. But he actually retweeted a quote from somebody where they said, celebs are trying to make mental health problems fashionable. So, essentially, mental illness as fashionable. And Piers Morgan backed that up. Tweeted the story, saying celebs are making it fashionable. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not aware of this, wall fans, common sensors, podcast consumers, I'm telling you right now, this is not the case. It was 100% not the case. Now, do I know every celebrity personally? No. But I can tell you it's 100% not the case. The only way it's possible to think something like this, to think something like that, is if you don't suffer from anything like that, or you haven't lived with anyone that suffers from a debilitating mental illness. And I'll tell you, just ask my wife. Just ask my wife. She knows what it's like. In fact, I sent that to her, and she said, there's no way you could possibly think that if you have lived through it, or you live with somebody that lives through it. I'm going to tell you right now, I would rather be irrelevant forever, wearing a burlap sack with, no friends. I mean, I wouldn't give up my family and my daughter, but with no friends, no podcast, no anything. Just living in a hole with a burlap sack with my daughter and my wife. I would take that over unlimited fame and recognition, but having to live with debilitating mental illness. That's 110% accurate. I would do that in a second. I would. Wouldn't even hesitate. There's no hesitation there. Because that's the difficulty that comes along with living with mental illness. A debilitating mental illness. Nobody's trying to make it fashionable. In fact, most of what's happening here is these celebs, they're finally speaking out about it to help diminish the stigma around it. I know personally, I spent most of my life not talking about it. It took until I was in my 30s to discuss it more openly. In my 30s. And I still have problems with it. But I discuss it because I want to help remove that stigma. And that's what these celebrities are doing. The ones that speak out about it, they're not trying to say, look, I'm cool because I have mental illness. I have a mental health problem. No. They know that they deal with it, and they want to possibly help others deal with it. That's what I've always said on this podcast. If one kid, I'm not saying there's kids listening, but teenager, 20-something-year-old, hears this and realizes I'm not alone. Other people deal with this as well. And there are people out there that I can talk to about it. If one person does, then it's worth my embarrassment of sharing personal stories with you. Absolutely. There's no question about that. There's no question. It's not to be fashionable. It's not for content. You think I can't find other content to talk about? I can get on here like the hipster, the young hipsters like Hassan Piker and just post weird photos of me and my bulldog. It's not what I'm here for. I'm not here for social media fame. I'm here to talk to a wall, deliver some common sense, and hopefully make a slight difference in the world. That's what I'm here for. And I guarantee that's what many celebrities are out there for when they're talking about this. And in fact, I want to share, Sophie Turner got into it with Piers Morgan on Twitter. And I want to share with you her tweets. So these 4 tweets, this is a 4-part thing that she tweeted. These are all direct quote from Sophie Turner. Part 1, people who think it's okay to make jokes about mental illness. I feel you must be lucky because surely you don't understand or can't comprehend what it is like to have or know someone with an illness like this. Right? Right? Part 2. Depression is the second biggest killer in affluent Europe and America. One of the greatest reasons being, I believe, is because mental illness has so much stigma surrounding it. That's why we talk about it on Go Tell Us the Wall podcast, to remove that stigma. If it's one kid, it's worth it. One. Part 3, if we can just all speak out about our experiences or our loved ones' experiences, we can help other people who suffer with mental illness not feel so alone. Let's keep this dialogue going. Part 4, you are not alone. You can manage your illness, and people who make fun of it are the minority, not you. You are loved and supported. I can't say enough good things about Sophie Turner right now. That's well thought out. If you've listened to Go Tell It to the Wall podcast for the past 2+ years, you know that really, I probably didn't say them as well as Sophie Turner does, but really these are all things that we've talked about on the podcast. Removing that stigma. We need to do better. And Sophie Turner, you just became one of my favorite people around. Now I hope Sansa sits on the Iron Throne even does that, actually, Sophie Turner.